Let's talk about some of the things that you're not thinking of when you're starting your side hustle, when you're starting your online business. The things like the taxes and the managing your money and like some of this stuff here. Is there anything like just jumps out to you of like, I mean, taxes got to be the big one, right? Like how many people have we seen that like just made the money and spent the money?
Yeah, I think, well, okay. Yeah. I think the bookkeeping, I mean, that's sort of taxes, but it's sort of not taxes. I mean, like
Sure.
bookkeeping is just just categorizing the expenses that go in day out. And I know when I started my business, I saved up $3,000 for my teaching money. And then I opened a bank account with it. And then I got QuickBooks. And I think most of the problems or most of the like annoyances that I've run into with business so far is just like getting expenses properly categorized and really like understanding like why they should go in certain places. And I'm still learning, like as it gets more complex, I'm still learning a lot about it. But I think even if you do that well, then an accountant's job is pretty easy. Or like even just doing your own taxes should be relatively easy. If you don't do the bookkeeping part well, it gets really messy really quickly. And I've tried to do my own bookkeeping. I've used like the QuickBooks, kind of like AI based bookkeeping where it kind of self categorizes, but a lot of times it gets it wrong. I used a VA, an overseas VA, to do my bookkeeping for a while, and that was a bad idea. And then I used another bookkeeper that was like very technological. We both used a bookkeeper that was like very technologically behind. And so that was kind of complex. So I finally feel like 7-8 years into this, like I finally have a good bookkeeping system. But man, that's more difficult than I think that even just the tax strategy. Not difficult. It's more tedious. And so if you're not somebody that's like ultra organized, which I'm not an ultra organized person, like that part becomes very overwhelming. And then you get to the point where if you do get an accountant, they look at your stuff and they go like, well, what is this? Ideally you kind of want like the same person having their eyes on both things, but that's a big one. And that's something you have to deal with from day one in some capacity as a business owner.
Or you end up in the situation I was in because I did not.
Yeah.
So I had a nice little spreadsheet that had the names of my clients and how much they paid me for each month.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all I had. And, for years. And so when taxes would come up, even after I initially got a CPA, it would be like, but I used to do it myself, but I would sit down and I would just like print out I did have a business card, which made it easier.
Yeah.
And I would just print out my statements and, I had a sheet and it was like, okay, put your home office expense, like your different things. And I would I would spend a weekend just categorizing everything and getting it all done at one time. Even when, we had the first CPA that we both used, he would be like, here's your organizer. I need this information. And I would just pull it all, or I would look, get the bills and I would grab all of that and, send him the totals or put them into a spreadsheet. And then he would go do the tax stuff. I never really used a bookkeeper or anything until we started doing that. So I definitely think it's useful. I mean, I guess it just depends on, I've never been one to like do a good job of maintaining a system or data, like upkeeping it. I've been more of like, okay, let's sit down and knock this thing out. Like, let's, whereas like my wife, she, it's like every day, she's in the bank account, she's updating her spreadsheets and stuff, which is why she handles our stuff. Like,
right. Yeah. That makes sense.
So no, I think it's a good one, but yeah, you just got to understand, like, I didn't do that. Now we do it. And so now we, like what it is now, like I have to clarify payments, our bookkeeper will be like, hey, what's this in this business? What's this in this business? And I'll explain what it is and then they'll categorize it. And I've got a better understanding of it, but yeah, it definitely makes life easier. It's just like anything. Like if you keep up with it, it's going to be easier when the time comes. If you don't, you're going to need a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that stuff, it just snowballs though, just as your business grows like that continues to just become a monster. You know, even now it's like, I feel like I've got a really good handle on it, but like I did the meeting yesterday and like we went through and there's some stuff that got miscategorized. And especially like, you probably don't have the same issue in your agency because of the way that payments come in, but like with the affiliate marketing stuff that we do, where it's like, we have a ton of like microtransactions that happen and they all pay out from different places. You know, some of it comes into PayPal, some of it's direct from the merchant, like just, it's really complicated. And then you add in all the complexity of like, there's different bank accounts and there's a lot of different stuff going on. And so like, there were several where it was like, hey, what happened here back in June of last year? And it's like, we're talking about like, I don't know, $700 that we're trying to figure out like where that came from. And it could have come from like 7 different affiliates that paid out. And so it just gets, it's like, even that kind of stuff. Just
and
like,
every affiliate has their little business, their merchant name or their LLC name might be completely different from their business. And so then you're like, who is Cute Panda Bear 07?
Yeah.
No clue. Oh, it's that dude from, blah, blah, blah finance. Like, you just,
yeah. We got hung up on a $47 expense. That was like, I looked at the company and it was like an online business. It's like a Ukrainian online business conglomerate. It was like this LLC owned like several different craft making. It took me a long time to figure out it was like a Christmas gift that we gave somebody on the team, but I couldn't figure, it took forever. And like, if sometimes that stuff, depending on your tax strategy and like how your accountant is, like sometimes they'll kind of just make those things, I'm not going to say go away, but they'll figure out a good way to categorize them if you can't figure out exactly what it is in the moment. But our bookkeeping team and accountant, like they want to know where every single thing comes from, which is good. That's the way it should be. So it just gets it's like, geez, I can't even keep up with this stuff anymore. But oh well.
Good problem to have. I mean, it's part of it.